You are listening to the Knightline Sports Network, brought to you by Travis Dever and the Dever team, 386-690-1636.
Welcome to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, hello Orlando and hello Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley and this is Knightline at Night. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Bar Law, assisting injured veterans to get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. We're also taking your calls, by the way, 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO, that is 9326, or you can use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. Once again, I am Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. I got Big Ben Stout here with me at Big Social 32 on Twitter, and Roger Phipps is taking the week off. Traveling for work, and so it'll just be me and Ben tonight, but that is perfectly fine. You can find all the rest of our content on nightlinesports.com. We are talking UCF sports, particularly this week, of course, UCF football, because we just had the big spring game on Saturday, last Saturday, and you know, with Gus Malzahn being here his first year, you know, it was cool. It was cool to see. It was cool to see what the offense looked like. I watched the offense a lot more than I did the defense. Right. I can talk to you a lot about the offense. I cannot talk to you too much about the defense because I was focused on the offense. Gus Malzahn, he's an offensive guy. I wanted to see what he was doing with that. The defense, you know, we can deal with that, you know, later on, but
before we dive into that, Andrew, I wasn't able to make the spring game. How was the atmosphere? How was it there in the bounce house? Was it a decent crowd? Or?
It was a decent crowd.
Yeah,
it
seemed like that.
It was
some
nice.
And stuff.
It was, you know, it was warm out. I was in the cabana. Everybody had drinks in their hands, which was a wonderful thing. And then a lot of people were wearing masks, and a lot of people weren't. Mm-hmm. So, and they, you know, last year during the games, it seemed like, you know, you heard all these stories about, you know, the mask people.
Yeah.
The mask people
enforcers.
Saying, you know, yeah, the enforcers. I was going to say something else, but it's probably not the right word to use. Blah, blah, blah. So there was none of that. Mm-hmm. Nobody came around saying, put your mask on, put your mask on. You're going to get kicked out. You know, there was none of that. So that was nice. There was probably 10 to 15,000 people there.
That's not bad for a spring game.
It was not bad. At noon on a Saturday for a spring game.
It was a warm day Saturday, too.
It was hot. But the beers were flowing. They could have had a couple more bars open.
Right.
Because the lines got pretty long, especially with people, you know, leaving 6 feet between each other, which sometimes they were, sometimes they weren't, but whatever. It was still great. Spring games are weird for me because I like to go to a spring game to see my buddies, to see people that I haven't seen maybe since the football season.
Right.
And to hang out and talk to the guys that I just see during the football season. Mm-hmm. So
we all have our like football families, right?
Yeah. And that's what the spring game to me is much more of a social thing than it is even to watch. It's cool to watch, you know, the players practice. Basically they're practicing. I mean, the coaches are standing on the field, you know, behind the team. So it's not like, I don't know, it's just weird. Punts, you know, the punts, they didn't have anybody up. It was literally a long snapper and the punter and the person catching the punt. So that was the only people on the field at the time. So, and the punts were not good, by the way. Yeah. Ran it back a little bit. Made fair catches, obviously, a lot more. The punts weren't very good. That's one of the things. Special teams not looking so great. That's the one worry that I have now.
Right.
After seeing the whole thing on the field at once, Orbowski missed a field goal, the very first one, and the punts. He hit one that was like 50 yards, and there was others that were 35. So very inconsistent. But I think a lot of that has to do with adrenaline as well.
Yeah.
If you're not like adrenaline like junkied up to like kick a ball, when there's guys rushing at you and running at you and trying to take your head off, it's a little bit different, I think. When there's just a long snapper snapping it to you and you're just kicking it.
I think that is especially true on the punts, right? I mean,
field goals, I don't know. But
field goals, well, there's a different level of pressure and adrenaline.
They didn't
I imagine,
kick off. They didn't do any kickoffs. They just put
Okay.
the ball like the 25 or something like that and started, or maybe the 30. Kept it, pretty much in the middle, except there were touchdowns, obviously. There were some really cool plays. Some trickery from Gus Malzahn. And if you know Gus Malzahn and you followed his offenses, you followed Auburn before, you know that there's some trickery.
Right.
There's always some trickery. There's Wildcat. There's this one we had
Kalia Davis, right? Yeah.
Kalia Davis was the Wildcat. And if you don't know who Kalia Davis is, let me look here on the roster just to make sure that I mentioned the size of this guy correctly, because he's a big boy.
He's a defensive tackle, folks.
He's a
big guy.
He's a defensive tackle. Where is he on here? Every time I say that, I'm like, I'm going to look at the roster.
Well, as you're looking
and then I can't find. Here it is.
Okay.
6'2", 285.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the tallest guy, but 285.
So
he's probably even bigger than that, to be honest with you. He played running back when he was,
that's what I was going to say,
in high school, I guess, and little league.
He said junior and senior year of high school he played running back. I don't know how often he played running back, because I don't know how big he was.
Let's hear what he had to say about it.
Coach them knew about my background as being, running back in little league. I played as a running back in high school too, so coach just seen I was athletic and he wanted to see if I can catch a snap and run it. So yeah, it was a cool play. Like the hole wasn't really there, but my athleticism kicked in and I found the hole, got the first down. It was cool though. I wanted a touchdown for sure, but first down it helped us score. So I was running my feet on contact, so hopefully they don't give up on me. They give me another chance. I'll probably score.
Does that sound like a kid who's having fun right there?
Oh, absolutely. All these guys do.
They look like they're having a blast out there. I mean, I wasn't there, but I've watched a lot of like little clips or whatever, and read up a lot about it. Some of the things that I was excited about hearing is a lot more dynamic plays on offense, a lot more short passes. I've always thought, throughout the Heupel era, of course, it was always about long bombs, but those short passes to kind of get Dylan in rhythm, I think he's really excited about it. And we've got playmakers all over the field.
Absolutely.
And so get those guys the ball in their hands quickly, like Ryan O'Keefe. He's a guy that, yes, he can burn past people in a long route, but you get him the ball quickly and you get him a block or two, he's gone. So,
well, speaking of Ryan O'Keefe, he was the wide receiver of the day, no question.
Yeah,
he set himself apart in this one, and especially on this double pass thing that they did. Let's first go. I got clips on all that stuff, but let's hear what Gus Malzahn had to say just overall. This was his opening statement before he took questions.
First of all, I just told the guys, we called them up. I really am proud of our team. An outstanding spring. We've challenged them. We put it on them physically, mentally, and we practiced 4 days a week for 4 straight weeks, and we got after it. And today it was great. The guys were flying around, got a chance to get everybody to play. I think they played hard. I think they played for each other. We didn't have any serious injuries. That's something you always kind of stress about, as far as spring game. And it was great to be in front of our crowd. I really appreciate our fans that came out. I appreciate our band. They were outstanding. It was just a really good atmosphere and a really good overall day for us.
Okay, well, that was the synopsis of, and a little bit of that's coach talk, and it's the same stuff that you hear most of the time. But the one big thing that he said is they were having fun.
Yeah.
And you just said that about how Kalia Davis sounded. He sounded like he was having fun. It sounds like all these guys are. As far as, one of the cool things, besides the players and what they did on the field, one of the cool things and one of the things that got UCF a lot of airtime and social media talk and
social media kind of blew
the
up.
Buzz
about it,
was really going, and smart move by these guys. Gus said, when he got here that he wanted to be involved in marketing. He put the billboards up. He did the Twitter names on the back of the jerseys, Twitter handles on the back of the jerseys this week.
Yeah.
For the spring game. It's not going to be a thing that happens, during games and stuff like that. That was a spring game thing, but it was cool. It was really cool. Let me see here's the clip. Oh, well, I don't know if I have time to play this, and I'll have to play that one in the second segment. It's a little bit of a long clip, but he talks about that, and the players loved it. The name, image, and likeness thing is going to happen in college football. If it doesn't happen this year, where they can benefit and be paid for their name, image, and likeness, it's going to happen in the next couple of years in college football. And this was something that he, and the staff came up with to, help these kids out. Like, everybody's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Gus Malzahn goes into explaining it
for sure
really good here in a little while. But we'll bring that in off after the break. But he's helping these players out. He wants to make sure that if that's going to happen, if they're going to get paid for their name, that he wants people to know where to find them.
And we talked about that in the past when it comes to recruiting, right? Like how he's casting a wide net because, hey, this 5-star player that might have played at an all-star camp with another 4-star player that we get, they're announcing their offer at UCF, right? That's where it comes into recruiting. That's how he's getting that, social media involvement in recruiting. And this is just another level of creativity to get him involved in that. And I think it's really smart. It's kind of crazy. Gus Malzahn obviously is this hugely experienced coach, but he's so creative and he's so up to what the modern college football player is looking for. It's just he's really bringing us to the next level in all aspects of the game. It's really interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and that's what happens when you have an experienced coach like that. Number one, this guy was in the SEC. He was at the top of the game, the top conference in all of college football. Arguably, but not really arguably. So he knows what he's doing. He's done it before. He's at a place where we've had some coaches with some experience, but the last two have had none as a head coach. So this is a completely different thing. And it's taken, that was okay. Anyway, it's taken the team and the university to a different level.
Absolutely.
So, that was the wrong thing that was supposed to be played there. But anyway, all right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on Knightline at Night.
An auto accident can change your life forever. At Chad Barr Law, we are raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Hi, I'm Chad Barr, and I want you to know that our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the representation you deserve in your greatest time of need. If you or a loved one have been injured in an auto accident, call 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. At Chad Barr Law, our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices, Altamont Springs.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Looking for more out of your Porsche? Look no further than Flat6Motorsports.com. They have the widest selection of aftermarket Porsche parts anywhere in the world. With over 85 product lines and in-depth expertise, Flat6Motorsports.com is your one-stop shop for any Porsche performance needs. Whether you're shopping for intakes, exhausts, suspension, or tuning, they have you covered. Flat6Motorsports.com is the premier Porsche aftermarket specialist. Check them out at Flat6Motorsports.com.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, Andrew Phegley back with you on Knightline at Night. Also, Big Ben Stout is here with me. Live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barr Law, assisting injured veterans to get the help they deserve. Call Chad 407-599-9036 or visit protectingvets.com. Got a caller on the line, and
All right.
we're going to talk to Jessica from Maryland. Jessica, how you doing? It's been a while. Are you there?
Hear me?
Hey, yeah, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I want to let you know, even though you don't hear from me, I listen to all of your shows every single week.
I know you do.
We appreciate that, Jessica, big time.
Absolutely awesome. I know you do, and we really, really appreciate that. What's on your mind tonight?
Okay, so just bear with me. I'm just coming off of work, so I'm a little brain dead, but I'm going to try to ask you this. So I listened to your show today when I was on my way to work, and I have a question for you. I heard you talking about, the players, that we have going into that could possibly be drafted, and I have the question I wanted to ask you was, if they really wanted to, could some of these players have stayed one more year at UCF to make their sack numbers go up and basically be coached up a little bit more?
Absolutely, they could have. All of them could have. Any of them could have, even if they were a senior, because last year basically did not count against NCAA eligibility. So, yes, every single one of them could have stayed. But now that they've hired agents and they've gone in and done a pro day and all that stuff, they can't.
There was a deadline there. Yep.
Yeah, there's a deadline, and especially once you hire an agent, that is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You are automatically not an amateur athlete anymore once you hire an agent. So they could have, but they can't. And I think some of them should have, for sure. Most of them should have. There's maybe two guys that really had nothing to gain from it. And that would be Richie Grant and Aaron Robinson. Those two guys really had nothing to gain from it. And the risk of injury when they're fairly high on the NFL, where they're pretty much almost air quotes guaranteed to be on an NFL team. But besides that, the rest of the guys absolutely could have come back and had one more year to play with their buddies, one more year of college life, and one more year to get coached up and maybe make a name for themselves a little bit more.
Yes, and we would have had a veteran wide receiver core. I believe Trey Nixon should have stayed. I believe he was one of the ones that definitely should have stayed another year, because I felt like he never really got to his full potential yet at all.
Yeah, especially last year, because he missed 90% of the year.
A lot of injuries. Yeah.
He played in the first game and he played in the last game in the bowl game, I believe, because he was injured the entire time. So if you missed an entire year of college eligibility because you were hurt, in fact, he would have gotten another year on top of that, because he could have got a medical red shirt. So he technically could have probably stayed 2 years because of that. So if he doesn't get drafted or get a free agent deal, that's a big mistake, personally. So
yeah, he was one of those guys that you would want to put a little bit more on tape for sure, and he just kind of got cheated of his senior year with that injury.
Yeah, it's a bummer, and it wasn't anything that he could have helped, but we've seen guys go early before and doesn't work out very good. We saw Dredrick Snelson go a couple of years ago, and he thought he was ready for the NFL, didn't get picked or anything. So, I mean, he's sitting at home on the couch now. So, I mean, love the kid, but he shouldn't have gone to the NFL at that time. He got bad advice from somebody. I don't know if it was a family member, an agent, whatever. It was bad advice. Mm-hmm. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate it, and it makes me happy knowing that you're always listening. It really does.
Oh, I have so much fun listening to you. I always, when I listen to your show, sometimes when you say something, I'll be like, you know what, I agree with you on that.
Okay, I'm glad it's sometimes at least.
There's one, Andrew. We've got one person. It's Jessica from Maryland.
All right, Jessica, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. All right, we need to take another break here. We're going to do that, and we'll be right back on Knightline at Night. If you haven't figured it out yet, I love Tijuana Flats. I would love them even if they weren't a partner with us on the Knightline Sports Network. They have all kinds of great Tex-Mex food, and it's fresh, by the way. Made to order burritos, tacos, enchiladas, chimichangas, quesadillas, bowls, nachos, and taco salads. And if you haven't tried the queso, you are completely missing out. It is the best queso that I've ever had in my life. Absolutely hands down. And the sauce bar that they have, everything from wild to mild in there. Absolutely awesome, awesome stuff. Not only do I love the food at Tijuana Flats, but I love the company, a UCF-born company. And they give back to the community with the Justin Queso Foundation. So head to your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Welcome. This is a promo for the Take a Left at Albuquerque podcast, new to the Knightline Sports Network. You should listen to it. I say things like this. We need to stop blaming Jerry because we would do the exact same thing if we owned the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Do you know how much fun it is to own the Dallas Cowboys? My guests will say things sometimes like this.
It's the Lord of the Flies thing that happens when they don't understand that things are wrong, spoiler alert, until Piggy dies.
Lord of the Flies has been out for like 100 years. I don't even know.
Sorry to everyone at home who I spoiled the book for. A book's been out for like 90 years or something.
And sometimes, rarely though, I'll say really stupid things like this. If they don't make it out of the West and the Raptors get to the finals, I will go on either this show or whoever's show and say that Kawhi Leonard is overrated because I have too much evidence of it. New episodes drop every Friday with me and some of my good friends right here on the Knightline Sports Network.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night. I'm Andrew Phegley, live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barr Law, assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. You can call us, 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO, which is 9326. Or you can use the open mic feature on the WDBO app. Once again, I am AP_Knightline, Andrew Phegley on Twitter. And I got Big Ben Stout here with me. He is at Big Social 32. Roger's off this week. And you can find all the rest of our content on NightlineSports.com. We're going to go to the phones because we got our good friend Andrew from Oviedo on the line. Andrew, my friend, are you there?
I am. How are you guys?
Good. What's going on? I'm sorry, and you can give me all kinds of trouble because I said that I would meet up with you at the spring game, and it did not happen. I apologize.
That's fine. The car ain't going to paint itself, right?
Exactly, yeah. I had to come home and work on my car. I don't know if you saw, some people that are friends with me on Facebook saw, I painted my own car. I've done it a couple times, and I did it again. Anyway, and what's on your mind, my friend?
I got two parts for you. First part is, I know you probably guys talked about the spring game, but if you were to walk away with one thing you liked most about it, what would it be?
Okay. We'll go with that one first. Okay. I talked a little bit about this earlier. I like the trickery. I like the Wildcat stuff, and I liked the Ryan O'Keefe to Dylan Gabriel double pass thing. I like stuff like that. I like there to be little hitches in the game where it's not – I mean, we got really used to 4 plays last year, basically, for the last couple of years, and we've got way more than 4 plays. It wasn't really 4 plays, but it all looked the same. There's linemen doing stuff now. There's motion in the backfield. There's sweeps. There's reverses. There's all kinds of stuff. That's the one thing that I take away from it, and that's the one thing I wanted to see the most. And I talked a little bit about I didn't really even watch the defense very much. I watched the offense and what they were doing and the little, crazy things.
Yeah, for me, I think the big takeaway that I enjoyed seeing the most, if I had to choose one, was just the utilization of the short passing game in the middle of the field. I mean, we actually saw first play of the game, right? Went to a tight end, a pass to a tight end. We thought we were going to see that often over the last 2 years and never really quite got that going. I think the utilization in the middle of the field, and then if a little 1A, I guess I would say is I like, Dylan Gabriel getting out of the pocket and using his athleticism a little bit too. That was good to see throughout spring ball, but certainly we saw a few plays there in the spring game as well.
I want to see that double pass thing go for a touchdown. I want to see Dylan Gabriel score a receiving touchdown, because technically, if he threw the ball to the wide receiver threw it back, and then he caught it for a touchdown, I believe that would be technically throwing himself a pass for a touchdown, which doesn't happen very often, but I think that's how it would go down in the record books, and I think he deserves that.
That'd be
and
interesting.
he really seemed to enjoy catching the ball. It's like, doing something new. I'll go out, I'll catch it. So hopefully that answers that question. What's your part two?
Well, going a little bit back to part one, my favorite part of the spring game was actually allowing the defense to hit the quarterback. Because for so many spring games, you couldn't touch them. They come out in their little red jersey, and you can't touch them. So when I saw Mikey Keene get his welcome to college football moment, I definitely enjoyed seeing the defense actually.
And he
get a
did.
chance to, obviously, rough them up, but it's nice that you can actually tackle them, knock them down.
Yeah, you obviously wouldn't want to do that with Dylan, and they didn't.
He was the only one that wasn't live.
Imagine if one of those dudes did get hurt, though. That's a weird thing for me, because I completely understand it. Did you see the Florida State game at all, where they were wearing the helmet covers over their their heads? Everybody except the quarterbacks, which was kind of weird, but they were non-contact. Everybody else was contact except the quarterbacks, but they wore those funky helmet covers on their helmets. So luckily we didn't have to do that.
One of the things that Gus mentioned about the quarterbacks all being live except for Dylan, of course, is that he said that really helped their defense and kind of like helped, them being live and them being active and the ability to get hit. It kind of helped the preparation on the defensive side as well. So, you could see a little gamesmanship and how they could, advance even further with that.
Yeah. And he wanted to see what they had. All right. Anything else there, Andrew?
Yeah, the second part of the question was, I am going to be attending my first non-football game in a long time. I'm going to be taking my daughter's softball team to go watch UCF softball face the Team USA.
Oh, awesome.
That's going to be a heck of a time, man.
Yep. So it's going to be cool having my daughter's softball team go and watch them. I guess the question for you guys is, do I wear my UCF jersey or my American flag jersey?
I would wear your UCF gear because you're there rooting for UCF. You could wear your American flag, though, obviously. But I think that would show your support. I mean, even though you're showing your support to both teams in this, I would still. It's at UCF's home. It's UCF's game. I would support the Knights.
Yeah, you're not rooting against Team USA. You're rooting for your Knights. I would go with the UCF jersey for sure.
In fact, wear your football outfit. You've got a whole. You could wear the helmet and all your space outfit.
Andrew, I'm going to flip the tables on you real quick and ask you a quick question because I thought of you this week when I listened to Gus Malzahn's press conference because he mentioned the band a few times and he mentioned how excited he was that the band was out there, playing the music and kind of completing the college football experience there. So how is that for you as a band alumni that I know you are?
Well, yeah, it's always good to have the band out there because we're taken for granted a lot of times, but the amount of prep work and preparation we have to do just to, to support the team. And that's why we're there. We're there to support the team.
Yeah.
Cheer them on, give us 110%. Yes, it's the band, and insert every typical stereotype you ever hear about marching band, but it's always good seeing that, considering I was on the other side playing, doing all the first downs. I had a blast in the marching nights, and it's always good seeing the next generation of players come in and experience the same thing I got to do.
Well, I will tell you, I do understand that thing. I played football in high school, but I dated a girl that was the drum major. So I did not date a cheerleader. I dated the geeky girl that was the drum major in the band. So she was awesome. So
my high school girlfriend, same play, flute.
Exactly.
Flute.
Yeah. So it is important. And college football would not be college football if it was not for the bands. Honestly. There's just something about that, hearing that. It's something that's missing from most NFL games. There is one or two that have a little band. The Chiefs actually have a live band. Not really a marching band, but they have horns and everything. But absolutely, we appreciate what you did there at UCF playing in the band. Because, like I said, college football would not be college football if it wasn't for the band playing.
For sure.
It's a big, big deal inside the stadium. Thank you very much, man, for your call. I appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Take it easy. All right. So we mentioned a couple of things there, and I wanted to get back to we were talking about Gus Malzahn and the Twitter names on the back of the jerseys. This is a Gus Malzahn moment right here. And if you know anything about Gus Malzahn, he has his moments where he is incredibly endearing, number one, and just really funny.
Yep.
So this is one of them. It's a little bit of a long clip, but you'll get what I'm talking about.
We've been saying, we think the future of college football is here, and if you really look at it, we've got 322,000 living alumni, and the average age is 36. They're all on social media. We got 72,000 students all on social media, and this is the new age, personal branding, and, we're going to embrace it within the NCAA rules, and that's who we are, and that's who we're going to be. It was just an idea within our staff. We've got a very creative staff that we're all on board. When we say that we believe the future of college football is here, that's just the first step. And just trying to look ahead, and I think it was a good thing. And we're going to be within the NCAA rules and everything we do, but we're going to be prepared. And like I said, you look at, 322,000 living alumni, and the average age is 36, 72,000, and they're all on Twitter, some of these big schools, their average age is their alumni is 65, and they're on Facebook, okay? So we got a big advantage, okay? My mom's on Facebook, She checked it last night, matter of fact.
I can't do it, but everybody that I know that's from Alabama does that, that thing, and I can't do it because you have to have that accent to do it, but, oh, man. That's good stuff. My mom's on Facebook. And it's true,
She checked
though.
it last night.
It's true. Our alumni base is on Twitter. And that's why I don't give you Facebook names when we start the show. I give you Twitter names. I give you Twitter handles. So Twitter's where it's at. I don't care how old you are. It's fun.
Yeah.
Twitter is the most fun out of all of them as far as I'm concerned. If Twitter did not exist, this show would probably not exist because we have such a fan base and are able to reach so many people on Twitter. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate we do questions on Twitter and all kinds of stuff. So it's extremely important. So putting those Twitter names on the back of the jerseys was an extremely smart move by Gus Malzahn. And other teams are going to start doing it in their spring games. I saw Temple the next day had jerseys made up with their Twitter names on the back.
That I didn't hear. That's interesting.
So they were watching and did it quick. So
you mentioned earlier the kind of how it blew up on Twitter, and you had these other accounts like these SEC homers that were like, oh, this is UCF such a joke. I can't believe they're doing a very polarizing, and expected answer from SEC fans. Just wait until their school does it maybe 2-3 years from now, because that's how far they're going to be behind, and they're going to be loving it then.
Yeah, and then Sports Illustrated, Bleacher Report, all of the big sports Twitter and I'm sure it's probably going to be in Sports Illustrated or something. I bet a picture of it will be. But everybody, Dennis Dodd, all the big names in college football were commenting. ESPN even put a tweet out with it on there. So everybody saw that. The best thing that can happen to UCF is when we do these little quirky things, everybody talks about it. Hello?
The attention that we get. I mean, and it's great to know that didn't go away at all. Like, they didn't just leave with Danny White, right? Like, it was started publicity. As a foundation, but we are making it bringing everything to the next level. Even with Danny White not here anymore, and with Terry Mohajir and Gus Malzahn, that creativity and that relevance is alive and well. It's growing.
Absolutely, yeah. I love this stuff that they do. It's awesome. Just like the national championship thing.
Yeah.
Danny White looks at a camera and says, "National champs, undefeated," is what he said. And that gave UCF so much Twitter and Facebook and every other social media at the time and national news. That brought UCF to the absolute forefront of all of that stuff. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you're a Florida fan or a Florida State fan. UCF was on the top at that point. All right, taking a break, and we will be right back on Knightline at Night. Hey, Jeep Wrangler owners, have you ever sat in your office at work and watched the rain just pour into your Jeep because the weatherman said that there was a 0 chance of rain? Or you put your doors back on because there was a 100% chance and then not a drop of rain fell? Well, there's a company out there that can help take the worry away and give you the peace of mind to be without your doors. The company's called Life Without Doors. They make waterproof rain curtains and dash covers for Wranglers. Life Without Doors is there to help make the decision to leave the doors at home an easy one. Find out more at lifewithoutdoors.com.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, Andrew Phegley and Big Ben Stout back with you on Knightline at Night. It is time for our Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week. Welcome to the Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week. Visit TijuanaFlats.com for takeout or delivery, or visit your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. All right, if you don't like Tijuana Flats, I don't know what to tell you, but you need to get to Tijuana Flats. They have new margaritas, by the way, and they're really good. And they have all kinds of stuff, everything.
My son and I ate dinner there last night. It was delicious. He loved it. I loved it. It was awesome.
I absolutely love Tijuana Flats. And thank you for them for helping us out here a little bit. Okay, so hot takes.
Yep.
You got one. I'm going to let you go first.
All right, my hot take will be that come fall, there will be a number 2 quarterback, obviously, and I think that number 2 quarterback backing up Dylan Gabriel will be freshman Mikey Keene,
not Quadri Jones.
I believe I believe that one of the 2 Arizona guys is going to elevate themselves past Quadri Jones, and I think that Mikey Keene is dynamic enough to be that guy. I mean, he went 7 for 8 in the second half, 70 yards and a touchdown. He was very accurate. He looked pretty good with his feet as well. I think he's exciting enough where he's going to elevate himself past.
He's the real deal. I can tell you that. Very young, only 17 years old, not even 18 yet. He graduated from high school early. and came straight to UCF in January. So
you know who else did that? Mackenzie Milton.
It did, yes, absolutely. And honestly, and I don't like to compare. In fact, I got on Roger on the podcast at one point. I'm like, dude, let's not compare everybody to Mackenzie Milton. Yeah. But if you were comparing a quarterback to Mackenzie Milton that we currently have on our roster, it is not Dylan Gabriel. Mm-hmm. Dylan Gabriel has the arm, actually a better arm than Mackenzie does, honestly. But feet-wise and leg-wise and what they can do with a broken play, Mikey Keene has that. He has that it factor. Even as a 17-year-old kid in college football, it's going to get a lot better.
He's really interesting to watch. And you're right, if you put Mackenzie Milton's high school tape at Mililani High School and you put Mikey Keene's high school tape kind of next to each other, there's a lot of similarities to like there.
Absolutely. Okay, my hot take of the week is this. You heard Andrew calling in earlier and talking about the softball team facing USA softball, the women's national team. UCF, this is my hot take. My hot take is UCF will beat the U.S. women's national team next Tuesday night, 5 p.m. At UCF. If you have a chance, if you've never been out there to a softball game, it's a nice little stadium. In just a great spot on campus in kind of a wooded area, and it's just
complex.
The softball complex, just a very nice little area and stadium and all that stuff. And you if you go out there for that game, 5 p.m., I know it's a little bit early, but you'll get to see the U.S. women's national team, and you don't get to see that very often.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's pretty cool.
A team that will play in the Olympics. So I'm saying that UCF will beat them on Tuesday night.
That's great. I mean, it'd be awesome for a launching point to the rest of their season and going into the postseason. And they're playing fantastic this year, and hopefully can keep it up.
They are. They have a big game coming up tomorrow night against number 5 Florida. By the way, it's in Gainesville. We played them and beat them here in Orlando earlier in the season. This is the return game for that in Gainesville. Number 5, though, Florida. That's a big deal for UCF to play them. They've played a bunch of top 5 and beat a couple of them.
Yeah, beat number 2 earlier this year, yep.
Also got Wichita State coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then next Tuesday, like I said, the U.S. women's national team, and then after that, Memphis, and then Ole Miss, and then USF, and then on to the American tournament. So they're doing really good. They're 29-9 overall. 9-3 in the conference, and they're on a streak of winning 4 games in a row. So
they're playing really well this year. Yep.
Yeah. Should really be peaking right about time for conference tournament and after. So
I just want to sneak this in real quick. Tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, 3:30, UCF volleyball against High Point. That's their first game in the NCAA tournament. So check that out on ESPN Plus if you can.
All right, got to go, guys. Have a good evening. Go Knights.
Charge on.
WDBO Orlando, WOEX-FM HD2 Orlando, W297BB Orlando, powered by New South Window Solutions. Click WDBO.com, a Cox Media Group station.